What's up guys, Lou here for Golf Avenue. If you ever come across our social media platforms, you've seen us build golf bags for different budgets and for different skill levels. Well, we've seen your comments and we know just how much some of you guys want us to build bags specifically for you. So with that in mind, we've decided to come up with a guide specifically dedicated to beginners to show them how to build their first golf bag at a low cost. Make sure to stick around till the end to discover the full price of our set and to find out how much you'd be saving. Now, let's not waste any more time. Let's head back to our blue bins and find our golf clubs. Just before we go pick up our clubs and build our bag, we just want to remind you that with Black Friday right around the corner, the time has never been better to get your hands on a full set of clubs. We've got a whole bunch of sets from different brands for different skill levels and most importantly, adjusted to your budget at home. So don't waste any more time. Head to golfavenue.com, find the set for you and lock in your transaction before the end of Black Friday so that you get to save the most you can. Now, back to our clubs and let's go build that set. All right, we'll be kicking things off with our iron set, but there's one main thing that I want to cover before we get going, and it's what you need to look for when you're a beginner and you're searching for golf clubs. And the one main thing you need to keep in mind is forgiveness. That's the one word you want to keep in mind when you're shopping for what could be your first set of golf clubs. Why do we put so much emphasis on forgiveness? Well, it's very simple, especially when it comes to beginners. It will help you compose with a not so consistent swing, which tends to be an issue for most beginners. It will also help you with off-center strike. It will deliver better trajectories on those off-center strike, and God knows that it's hard to find the center, especially when you're learning the sport and you're just getting started. And finally, and probably the most important one, it will help you deal with turf interaction, meaning it will stop the club from digging into the ground unnecessarily at impact. But now that we know what forgiveness is and how it'll help you on the course, the question remains, how do you look for it? Well, we've got two simple steps for you to look for them and to keep in mind when you're shopping for your next set of clubs. So the first thing you want to keep an eye on when you're looking for clubs that will offer forgiveness is the size of the club head. It's pretty much a dead giveaway. The bigger the club head, the more forgiving the club is likely to be. The second thing you want to keep an eye on is the name of the club. It sounds silly, I know, but if the club has the name HL or Max or something similar in name, very likely to run to a set with bigger club heads or that is designed to help launch the ball higher. And that's another point we want to touch upon. Any set that is designed to launch the ball higher, any set advertised as such, will definitely be more targeted toward beginners who have slower swing speed and are looking to build speed in their swing over time. Another thing you want to keep in mind is you don't necessarily need all the adjustability in the world. Frankly, I do have adjustable clubs personally, but when it comes to beginners, I would recommend clubs that are non-adjustable simply for the fact that all this adjustability could lead to confusion and doubt, especially for a golfer that doesn't know exactly what he wants, which is most likely the case when it comes to a beginner one. The other thing you might want to keep in mind is combo iron sets. If you've never heard of those before, usually it's just a combination of two different iron models into one iron set. And sometimes it'll even include hybrids at the top to replace the longer irons. In those cases, especially the ones where hybrids are replacing longer irons, I would really recommend it to beginners and casual golfers who struggle with longer irons, just because longer irons are typically more hard to hit. You need a lot of swing speed to do that, and if you don't have a lot of it, replacing them with an hybrid makes a lot of sense. So combo iron sets for beginners, it's an A+ in my book, honestly. And on the topic of combo iron sets, you also have super game improvement iron sets. These are not exactly the same, but what you end up having is the idea of the longer iron sets being replaced by hybrids, but all across the set. So all of your club heads are slightly bigger than a typical iron set and even bigger than a game improvement iron sets, which are already pretty thick. So when it comes to super game improvement, you know you're getting a massive club head that'll provide you with extra ball speed and impact, high launch angles, and all the forgiveness you could ever need. And while we could make all the guides in the world, we get that it's still sometimes pretty hard to find the right clubs for you, especially for beginners. So what we decided to do is we went ahead and added a filter on our website for you when you're shopping. So all you gotta do is click on the beginner filter button on the left-hand side of your web page and you'll find all the clubs that we've classified as beginner for you on our website. This should make your shopping experience as a beginner a whole lot easier and much more enjoyable. But now that I've given you the secret to building a set for a beginner, it's time to go find the irons that will be part of our very own set. So at this point, we should really be better at identifying what we need out of an iron set, especially for a beginner. So we need something that is 1, forgiving, 2, easy to launch and has good turf interaction, and the third part, which we didn't mention up front, but I'm telling you right now, you'll want to reserve 40 to 50% of your budget for your iron set simply because they take up so much space in your bag. Usually, it represents about 50% of all the clubs in your bag, so it makes total sense to reserve half of your budget for this set. But let's not waste any more time and find out what iron set we've decided to pick for this bag, and you've had it under your nose the whole time. It was right here next to me, the Cleveland Launcher HB iron set. So we picked the Cleveland Launcher HB because it checks all the boxes. It's incredibly forgiving. Look at the size of those club heads, they're massive. But also, it helps launch the ball very easily since they're so big. You know, we talked about super game improvements iron earlier in this video. Well, this is a perfect example of it. Massive club heads that will help launch the golf ball, even for golfers with slower swing speed. And the other thing is the club heads have such massive soles that it will improve your turf interaction with the ground. Instead of digging in front of the ball, you will be gliding across the grass, hitting the ball, and then you'll probably be digging in there, or you'll just keep on gliding and making a perfect stroke every single time. But now that we've got our irons covered, it's time to go look for our driver. So when it comes to our driver, we're again looking for something with a big club head that will provide you with lots of forgiveness and ideally lots of ball speed at impact. Well, we decided to go ahead with the tailor-made burner driver. It's a classic, and for that reason, it might have some of you at home worried that's an older model that might not equal the performance of brand new models. Well, I'm here to tell you that you don't have to worry about that at all. I personally tested models from 20 years ago against drivers from this year, and the results will show you that older models, just like the burner, even the ones from 20 years ago, are able to match the performance of brand new models that were released in 2024. We've tested this theory with Cobra, TaylorMade, and Callaway, and all three so far have shown that yes, the brand new models will probably push the ball a bit further and will be slightly more forgiving, but you also have to take into account that they are twice or maybe sometimes even 6 times the price of what you would pay for an older model like this one. So please don't worry about the older age of this driver. On top of being more affordable, we've shown that it'll provide you with performance that will be reliable on the course. And for those of you who want to spend a little more on a driver and want to get something a little more flashy, well, we'd want to tell you that you're trying to stay within maybe 20 to 30% of your whole budget on your driver. If you want to go above that, it's your choice, but in my personal opinion, you'd be better off to save on your driver and spend more on clubs that will really be more key on the golf course. But now that we've wrapped it up with our driver, let's go find what we have for our fairway wood. So when it comes to your fairway wood, you're looking for the same attributes as you were with your driver. So a bigger club head, something that will help you launch the ball with ease, and something that will provide you with forgiveness. But the main thing you want to keep your eye on when it comes to your fairway wood, and that's something you don't have to consider with your driver, it's turf interaction. Because yes, you'll have to hit your fairway wood off the ground once in a while, and this is the reason why we went ahead with the Cobra F-Speed. It's a great fairway wood and it checks all the boxes that we established before. It has a pretty big club head, it provides you with a ton of forgiveness, and the turf interactions are better than ever thanks to the unique shape of the sole here under the club head. One of the best things about this one is that it even checks our budget box because it comes in around 10 to 15% of our whole budget, which is exactly what you want to reserve for a fairway wood. If you're getting more than one fairway wood, you might want to look around maxing out 20% of your whole budget, but that would only be necessary if you notice at the end of building your set that you're still missing a slot for a club. Then you can consider either adding a fairway wood or another type of club depending on your needs and your gapping. And now with our irons, driver, and fairway wood covered, it's time to look at our hybrid. So when it comes to your hybrid, the name says it all. It's the cross-section between an iron and a fairway wood. So when it comes to finding your own, you should be looking for something that will fill both your needs from a wood and your needs from an iron. So basically, something lightweight that will get your ball in the air with a lot of ease, but yet something that will provide you with a lot of forgiveness and is easy to hit off the ground. So with that in mind, we decided to go with the 2013 version of the Cobra Baffler because it checks all the boxes here again. Very easy to hit off the ground with the nice rails here under for the turf interaction. Small club head that is nice to feel at impact. And I say small not because it's small in the sense that you're going to be intimidated when you're standing over the golf ball. It's small in the sense that it's small, it's an hybrid, it's smaller than a wood, so it looks nice at address, it's not too bulky, it's great. and it'll provide you with forgiveness at impact, much like we said we needed. So this model is right up your alley if that's what you're looking for. And this model is great for a budget because it fits at around the 5 to 10% that you want to allocate per hybrid. And I do say per hybrid because hybrids are the type of clubs that we might come back to later when it comes to filling in the gaps in our set or filling in any issues that we have in terms of gapping and distances. So now that we've covered our hybrids, our woods, our drivers, and our irons, we've only got our short game left. So let's kick things off with our wedges. So when it comes to your wedges, the idea of looking for something forgiving with a big club head that will interact with turf well is not necessarily your key priorities. Yes, some wedges are designed this way with larger soles, with bigger club heads, and are designed to be more forgiving at impact. But in our case today, we're gonna go with something that has more of a blade-like profile, and trust us, it's no problem at all. They are designed for beginners, they'll still work well for beginners, as typical wedges will work for any player type. That being said, you do have to consider how many wedges you have in your iron set already, and that is part of the reason why we started with our iron set, just to know how many clubs we would need to get when it came to our short game and our wedges. In most cases, if you already have one wedge in your iron set, you probably need 1 or 2 other wedges to diversify your opportunities when you're out on the course. In our case today, we're gonna go with 1 single wedge. The reason being, we're trying to make this set as affordable as possible and leave you as many options as possible when it comes to completing it yourself. So with that in mind, we opted for a sand wedge. In this case, we went with the TaylorMade Tour Preferred EF ATV. This club represents about 5% of our budget, which is exactly what we wanted. You don't want to spend really much more than that on your wedges just because you're going to have a bunch of them in your bag most of the time. You're going to buy at least 2. So if you're going to get 2 of them, they do accumulate pretty fast when it comes to cost, especially because you're getting them at the end of your build. So keep that in mind. You want to get wedges that are more affordable that will still provide you with plenty of performance. And don't be worried about the performance. Look at this club right here. Still got plenty of groove left to offer. And for those of you who are still worried about buying used wedges and comparing used grooves, well, we've already did this test in the past for you where we compared the performance of the different variation of conditions that we have at Golf Avenue. We started with a brand new one right out of plastic compared against our 4 other conditions that we had at the time, which were very good, excellent, good, and fair condition. And trust me when I tell you that the end results of this test showed that used wedges have plenty left to offer for golfers who are looking to build their bag on a budget. And one more thing about wedges, don't worry about having all the model from the same brand or the exact same model for all your wedges. You can go with a few variations. Just make sure that they have the right loft and bounce that you need. So if you have a pitching wedge, then make sure you get a gap wedge, a sand wedge, or a lob wedge, but don't get 2 pitching wedge or 2 gap wedges. That could be an issue. And when it comes to loft angle and the different gaps or different classification of wedges, you can reach out to our expert and book a call with them. They'll be happy to help you out and answer all the questions you may have. Now that we've covered almost the entirety of our bag, we've only got 1 more club type left. You've probably guessed it already, but let's go and find it. It's time for our putter. So when it comes to your putter, fortunately, the selection process is much easier. You can pretty much go with anything you like. What I will say is that mallets are designed for beginners in the sense that they have more massive club heads, so more forgiveness at impact. The club head doesn't twist as much throughout the swing, which should help with golfers who struggle with consistency at impact, especially when it comes to their putters. But I do want to insist on the fact that blade putters are not bad at all. Actually, if you're a beginner and you want to go with a blade because it feels more natural to you, please go ahead. Don't let me say otherwise. But do keep in mind that the blades are specifically designed for beginners, or at least to help provide you with more forgiveness in your swing and when you're putting on the green. It's with that in mind that we decided to go with the TP Hydroblast 2-page putter from TaylorMade. It's got a mallet head, so it has a larger club head. It will provide you with more forgiveness throughout your swing. It will be more stable throughout your swing. It should also provide you with a touch more forgiveness at impact, which will help. The other thing about the TP Hydroblast is that it fits in our budget. If you're a beginner, I'd say you want to spend around 15 to 20% of your budget on your putter at the very most. Especially a putter when it comes to a beginner, it won't be your make or break club. It will be a club that will help you finish while you're out on the greens. So if you want to save a little more on your putter, especially your first putter, I totally get it, and it's actually probably the wise choice to make. But now that we've covered all of our golf clubs and we've got this beautiful set of clubs with us, we still have one issue: we don't have anywhere to put them. So with that in mind, let's go find our last piece, our golf bag. When it comes to golf bag for beginners, you're trying to make life as easy as possible for yourself. So in that case, you're most likely looking at a stand carry bag, which is a bag that's as easy to carry as it is to rest on its leg on the ground next to you when you're hitting your shots. And the benefit is that you can even put it up on a golf cart or on a push or pull cart if you're feeling like you don't want to carry your bag that day. In some cases, some golfers will prefer to have more storage, and for those golfers, we recommend that you want to maybe look at investing into a pull or a push cart, or you might want to keep in mind that you'll need to use an electric cart when you go out on the course. Well, in the case of our experts, they've decided to opt for the extra inventory so that you won't run out of anything you need when you're out on the golf course. This is why they went with the TaylorMade 2023 Pro Cart golf bag. So this one has plenty of storage for you. It'll provide you with all the space you need for your golf clubs at the top so they don't scratch each other. And with all that storage space, it's perfect to be put up on a push cart, on a pull cart, or even on the electric golf cart. And if you go to any golf course, you're most likely going to be able to rent out one of these, either the pull cart or the push cart, or rent one of those electric golf carts. Now that we have all of our clubs and a bag to put them into, it's time to find out just how much this full set is and how much you're saving by buying a pre-built club set. So for those of you who've paid close attention, you've probably noticed that we left some spot empty in our bag. And this was done on purpose, and there's a simple explanation for it. Actually, we've got two very good reasons for that. The first is, when it comes to your golf bag, especially for beginners, you won't need 14 clubs in your bag. You won't be using the 14 of them every single round. The clubs we have in this bag for you right now are the main clubs you would need to play any golf round. You'll be able to make your way around the course with these one. You'll be able to have plenty of loft and tight lies with your wedge, and you'll be able to have all the control you need on the green with a nice putter. And when you're away from the green or the short game, you'll have a nice set of iron perfectly fitted to the needs of a beginner. And when it comes to the woods and your hybrids, well, we've already discussed this, but they're perfectly suited to your needs on the course. The other thing is, when it comes to beginners, we want to give them the chance to build their own bag eventually. So this is why we're leaving spots empty in this bag. You want to trade your iron set at the end of the season and want to upgrade to a new one? Well, there you go. Take the clubs out, trade it in with Golf Avenue, and you're able to upgrade to your new iron set. And this way you can even add clubs to your bag as you go along. You want to add a second wedge? Well, feel free to go and do so yourself. There's no problem. You have all the options in the world. Just keep in mind that if you were to enter any official tournament or competition, you do need to keep in mind that the maximum clubs in your bag is 14. So right now, you're standing very good. You have no worries at all. But if you do add clubs to your bag, or if you do swap some clubs out for new ones, just keep in mind that 14 is the limit. So now, what you've all been waiting for, we're just gonna show you the full price of this set, the actual price of the full clubs in this set, what it would cost, and we're also going to show you the price that you would pay for it at thegolfavenue.com. All right, so money talk here. For this whole set right here, including the bag, we're talking more than 800 US bucks. And yes, that's a lot of money for a beginner golfer, which is why at Golf Avenue, we've decided to discount this whole set at $599.99 US. That's right, you can get your hands on this great set of clubs for $600. But don't wait too long though, because this set is unique. We don't have any other one like this in stock. Yes, we do have other beginner built club set that you can find on the website, but for this one specifically, you have to hurry to the website and get your hands on it if it's not already gone. Speaking of our pre-built club sets, if you head to thegolfavenue.com, you'll find sets for beginners and intermediate golfers. And if you have a brand near and dear to your heart, well, you're in luck, because we have sets dedicated for TaylorMade and Cobra lovers. But here again, don't wait a second, because each one of this set is unique, and once they're gone, they're gone. But don't worry, if the club set you were looking for is gone, you can always get in touch with our experts. After all, they are the ones who build those club sets for you, so they're perfectly suited to help you build your next club set. And before we let you go, I simply want to remind you to like this video if you enjoyed today's content, and subscribe to Golf Avenue's channel for even more bag builds like the one we did today, for even more top 10 lists, and for even more club comparisons like we've done over the past few months. And while you're at it, why don't you comment down below and let us know what club set you'd like for us to build next, or if you have any other idea content, let us know down there as well. Who knows, your comment could be turned into our next video. And for Golf Avenue, I've been Lou. Until next time, see ya.